When Jim Henson set out to do the Muppet movie, he wanted to tell a story that gave his characters depth and texture. He knew that finding just the right song for Kermit to open up the film with would set the tone for the rest of the movie. He would end up finding Kermit's I Want song in the most unorthodox of places. I'm Dara Starr Tucker, and this is The Breakdown. When it came time to create a full-scale movie that would showcase the Muppets characters that Jim Henson had spent his life developing, he worked hard to assemble a team that really got his creative vision. For his first feature-length theatrical release, Jim Henson needed a song that would give viewers a window into Kermit's soul and would communicate his deepest desires. The song would also let the audience know that this wasn't your typical kids film. I mean, yeah, it was a children's movie, sort of, but the secret of the success of Jim Henson's Muppets was that he never pandered to children. His philosophy was, we're not just writing for children, we're writing for the child in all of us. And when it came to choosing the songwriters that he would work with, he didn't look to the world of children's music. He chose a writer that was known for writing sentimental, grown-up ballads that pulled at the heartstrings. Songs like this.
Love, soft as an easy chair.
And this.
You and me against the world.
And this.
Rainy days, Mondays always get me down.
Paul Williams was at the top of his professional game when Jim Henson asked him to write a soundtrack for a quirky film being shot in Canada called Emmett Otter's Jug Band Christmas. After that collaboration, Jim asked him to do the soundtrack for the Muppets feature film that he was working on. Paul gladly obliged and brought in his frequent songwriting partner Kenny Asher to collaborate with him. The Rainbow Connection was not a title that came easily to Paul Williams and Kenny Asher. They had actually written most of the song, but they hadn't come up with that line until they were talking to a friend about what they were trying to capture. The idea of a single concept, a wavelength that connects all people who are searching for their place in the world, something that carries a magical quality. Their friend responded, "Oh, you're looking for that Rainbow Connection," and they had their title. Although Rainbow Connection obviously occupies a territory that's similar to one of the greatest film themes of all time, also a song about rainbows. Somewhere Over the Rainbow really wasn't Paul and Kenny's primary inspiration for the song's theme. The first line is an obvious reference to that song.
Why are there so many songs about rainbows?
But what Paul and Kenny set out to evoke was the magic and longing of an iconic theme from Paul's favorite Disney film. When Kermit starts to sing in that swamp, Paul wanted the audience to feel what he felt when he saw Jiminy Cricket take off his hat and look up into the night sky and sing about that star. It was the idea that simply believing in something was enough to make it a reality.
What's so amazing that keeps us stargazing?
The song allows the listener to identify themselves in the lyrics, so it feels personal, and it's hard not to hear that song as a reflection of Paul's own sense of longing to feel significant, to feel special, to feel like he belonged.
The lovers, the dreamers, and me.
And Paul knew that his ability to capture that desire for connection and significance was the key to his songwriting success. He later said that he wrote more sophisticated songs as time went on, but those songs never caught on like his early material did. He put it this way: when I wrote Authentic Need, when I wrote what was going on at the center of my chest, that's when people responded. When it came time to record the Rainbow Connection, it was Paul Williams' job to produce the soundtrack. Jim Henson was in the vocal booth alone, performing it in Kermit's voice, but something wasn't working. The magic just wasn't there. So Paul had an idea. He asked Jim to go get Kermit and actually sing the song through Kermit in the booth. So Jim Henson obliged him. He got Kermit and voiced the song with the Muppet in the booth, and suddenly, there was magic. The version that we hear in the film was recorded with Kermit in the vocal booth singing into the mic through Jim Henson. The Rainbow Connection has gone on to become one of the most beloved songs in the world. Paul Williams says the more time that passes, the less he feels any ownership of it. As to whether he and Kenny Asher really understood what they had when they wrote it, he says that answering that question would require a sense of authorship, which he really doesn't feel. The Rainbow Connection came from a place that resides deep in the human heart, that speaks to a force that's bigger than any one person, a place that resides just behind the sun, just beyond the rain, that when you least expect it, can step in, see us through, and somehow connect us all.